Damn, you switch pod. The boys are back. How are you,
Yes,
Chris?
sir. Yes, sir. Oh, a bit cold. Cold result for the Sharks over the weekend, and the weather is also agreeing. So I'm not too happy. I'm not too happy. How's it going, Coach?
I'm good. It was a spicy week this week. We've got players switching alliances. I think
Mm.
that's a good place to start. Kleyn back in the Boks squad. They've put his papers in.
Yeah, look, he was just in a light green jersey. His blood has always been green. So uh, and I think, look, at the end of the day, yeah, man. It's like you made your choice, and then now, yeah, it. If I was the Irish, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth as well. As much
But
as
why? Why does it leave a sour taste in your mouth, especially if you haven't picked him for what the thing? I think it's you haven't got to be playing for 3 or 4 years.
okay. Well, yeah. Well, fine. They haven't picked him, and clearly they don't rank him anymore. So you know that's still okay. But on the other side of it, it's just without that opportunity, would he have been there now with the Boks? I don't know. It's just from that side of the coin. But from a South African side, like I said, in the opening, his blood's always been green.
I can understand if they've put the papers in now, so it's unclear
Mm,
whether he would have been in this Irish squad, but he got
mm,
that text to say, "Hey, don't make the
uh,
journey down to Dublin.
mm,
Just ease off a bit." So I can understand if they are upset in that way, but at the same time, for him, you've got to be like, "Well, I've been sitting here for 3 or 4 years. You haven't touched
yeah,
me."
yeah, yeah. What am I supposed to do? You know, what am I supposed to do?
And home is where the heart is, SA, home is
Yeah,
where the heart is. We're taking
and
our,
and
our
and
ex-girlfriends back here.
and I think also with the URC, with them coming down to South Africa playing here, obviously now it's reminded of home, and it's like, nah, I actually, I want to be here. I don't want to go back. And it would be understandable from a human perspective. At the same time, um, just from a like that sporting perspective is like because you know what does it mean for the game going forward? You know, I understand for countries like Tonga, Samoa, the islands where their players back then, just a lot of player drain. But, for like South Africa, like, I mean, you know, and for other teams, and once now everybody starts getting on the same level playing field, what does that mean for the game going forward? That's just my my question about it. It would be interesting to see. Is it now going to be like international transfers? Where guys want to say, "Oh, I want to go play for England now." You know what I mean? Now it's like, wait 3 4 years. They call you up, say no. They call you up, say no because you want to play for England. Like, is that just going to happen?
Personally,
I don't know, but
I have no issue with it, especially,
yeah,
you're looking at John
yeah.
Kleyn. That biggest honor of representing your country is number one, the biggest honor, but then to do it at a World Cup, the potential to do it at the World Cup, you
Mm,
have to take that
yeah,
opportunity.
to even I think definitely it's because I'm pretty sure he knows for a fact that he's got to sniff in. Otherwise it wouldn't be like this. If you know what I mean.
Mm.
There's definitely guarantees. There, and I mean he is good.
I don't
Let's
know.
not
I don't know
let's
about guarantees, but he backed himself by going to Ireland in the first place, being one of those project players. Now he's backing himself again this side. So I don't know about guarantees, but I'm sure it's the
but
measure of the man. That's how he believes in himself.
yes, for sure. But there's some, I believe, from a playing perspective, because now we're talking about playing, right? Just say Ireland haven't touched him, now if he's with the Boks, I mean, okay, maybe the guarantee is if you show what you're showing, then you're
Yeah.
in, maybe that's what the guarantee is. It's not it's not a thing of you definitely in no matter what, don't worry. It's a thing of if you keep on, then that's what I mean, So yeah, no problems there from a playing perspective, So I think his case is it's a unique one in a way, because I think it's the first one we've seen in a like sort of high profile. It's not like we are Tonga or, and no disrespect to those countries, because they're going to have some big hitters in the World Cup where it's going to be challenging for us.
All disrespect to those countries. All disrespect to those countries. We're not tier 2. We're tier 1. We're tier 1 guys. We're big boys.
But they've got their tier 1 guys coming in now. That's what I'm looking at, is that like the level. I think the leveling of the playing field it's that's why this World Cup is going to be. I think it's going to be a cracker when you're looking at it from that perspective. Especially in our pool, it's not going to be easy. We don't have it easy, in there. So yeah, it's a challenge, and the more soldiers that want to be on board with this cause, the better, the better.
Yeah, other sightings at the Bok camp besides the night kit. We've got
that kid makes me nervous. I don't know why.
It's bringing back memories of the old night kit.
I'm sorry. I was just like, hey. Hey.
But besides the night kit and nightmares about World Cups past, Jean-Luc Dupree is also there. A lot of the time, it's that thing of, you guys, you don't watch English Premiership. These guys are balling. We'll see. We'll see now. He's been included in the squad. I myself have never been a massive fan. He does bring the physicality and the versatility, which obviously going into a World Cup, you need players that can play multiple positions, and physicality is our thing. So
yeah, look, I've always liked those twins, especially from schoolboy days, and then the Sharks, the physicality, the dynamic that they bring, There's been in games before, Springbok games, tight ones, I think, Rugby Championship, where, they're just looking for that bit of that extra, through the contact with the offload, and he's got that he is brutal, he can manhandle, and especially if he's on tune, and you're gonna need, I think, guys like that, so it's good to see, but as well, it also, if you look at even just the general squad, it just shows there's not much deviation from, what they know and what they tried and tested, as it were.
Unless your name is Elton Yankees. Because it seems like the door's been shut on him. I myself am an Elton stan, a proponent. I will always fight for his cause, especially because I personally believe that Damian Willemse is not really a test 10.
No. No, there I agree with you there. They agree with you, because even like, look, he can plug, right? Yes, he can plug, he can play there, but he's better for me,
It's the same like Jesse Creel. He can play wing, but he's not a wing.
Because otherwise he's good at fullback, man. He's
even covering for inside center. I'm fine with him playing fullback and covering for inside center. But to take him to the World Cup, to take him to the World Cup as a fly half, I think you're missing a trick there, especially when you can take Lobok
experience-wise.
Yeah.
Yes, experience-wise. Because look, he's been there, and maybe they're afraid of, the kind of influence. I don't know, because just remember, it's now the perception that they have put out on him by them not backing. You understand what I'm saying? Is that they're saying, because we're trying to see what's not being said, to us, is that maybe it's like, hey, maybe it's a bad influence and whatnot, but we wouldn't know, But from a playing perspective and from just the experience perspective, he is still valuable, and yeah, maybe they don't think that the league that he's been playing at is some standard, for him to make it. Maybe he's still there, but as that Stephen Donald type of backup, you know what I mean? Like that's what you'd hope, because from when you're looking at that, it's a thin flower stock from experience point of view with Liborg, Willemse, as much as he got test caps, but at 10, yeah,
Isn't they said Stephen Donald, he was fishing when they called him. If it was Elton, I'd get that fishing rod out, hit the lakes. Trying to do anything you can to get on that.
Yeah, man. But
Besides that,
that's a tough one.
Besides that, big weekend of Currie Cup, final sort of normal matches before we get down to deciders. Griffins, Lions, I think let's start there. Lions, they're playing, they're moving the ball around. They're giving the guys exposure. JC Pretorius looks like he's going to be a starter in the URC. There's nothing you can really complain about. But at the same time, there's nothing you can really be that happy about.
Yeah, I think their problem is especially the bigger games, or the so-called bigger teams, the teams that have the internationals, I think that's where the issues are with the Lions, is that they don't have that. Even let's say the more experienced guys, let's put it that way, playing in the Currie Cup, it's youngsters, that they have most of them, so that's why I say you can't be upset, but you also can't be happy. But you can certainly see that there is potential there, but you don't know with I don't know. For me, it's just, I think their signings, they missed a trick or two, in getting in some more experienced players, guys that can get extra out of the team,
That's the thing. These signings are very underwhelming, especially compared to the Rock Nation Coastal franchise signing Janchi. On the same day, the announcements made on the same day. It's underwhelming. You've got Xander Du Plessis, who was on loan, played, but I mean, wasn't that great. Richard Creel, sourceless like his brother. Eric Cronje, decent player. Van Vuren as well. But it's like these guys, they're just going to add to squad depth. They're not going to change results. You look at any one of those players, you're not going to make a team win.
Yeah. But at the same time, from a Currie Cup perspective, if you have to commend at least the progress and the fact that they backed the coach, to a young coach, to keep on going, and you see some glimpses there of what can happen. But now I think they now, with, of course, what we just spoke about, that's where they're missing the trick, in terms of the signings and really bolstering, the team and the union as a whole, because you'd certainly hope they may be thinking a bit bigger, to at least say, okay, Challenge Cup, maybe let's go for that, as a start or whatever, but that's low. I'm just saying at the lowest, but yeah, the Lions. The Lions are just, I think they just their own worst enemies, from an administrative point of view in some respects.
Definitely. It seems like the biggest standing out factor is that there seems like there's no commitment to improvement or commitment to success, which is very disheartening for supporters, especially when you're talking about attendance and that kind of thing. Obviously, Ellis Park's not the greatest place to go. And then on top of that, you've got a team that's not really showing that they want to be better.
Yeah, I understand. And that definitely but the Ellis Park thing. I don't know, man. Like recently, I've been spending a bit of time around there, you know, on different on different for different reasons, but it's like I don't really see it, you know. It just needs to be a coordinated effort to, you know, to ensure security, you know, and it works, you know, it can
Yeah.
work, you know, if you treat the games as big events where you actually set up a parameter, actually an outside parameter, you know, it can be safe
That's
and
why
you
it works
can
for
get
ball
people
games.
in
It
there.
works for ball games, but it doesn't work for league games.
Yeah, so you can do that, you know, you can provide entertainment, you can get people there, you know, there's students around there, but the people are not interested in it because you don't really see anything about the Lions up until you get to Ellis Park. You know, up until you get to Ellis Park. So yeah, just good team, you know, played well, Currie Cup, you know, started off badly, you know, in different results, but if they don't fix those things, then you don't know. You don't know. You don't see exactly where it's going.
Yeah, Griffins as well. I think they impressed their playing style,
Yeah,
offloads. You know, they
yeah,
also played a bit. That was they made a game of it. Yeah, Greek was Pumas. I didn't manage to catch that one. I think it was the same time as the Lions game. The thing I want to talk about with that is the season's essentially over for the Creekwas. And
yeah.
when I mean that, I mean they're not going to be playing until 2024.
Hmm.
And you've got their coach saying that he's basically offering his players up because it's going to be like it's like 6
Yeah.
months till you get a next game.
Uh, yeah. That's see, that's now where we started to see a bit of the pitfalls of the URC, but it's also the calendar. It's also the calendar with the World Cup and all of that. I think it sort of made that window a bit wider, you know, for those players that are now going to be sort of inactive, you know, especially the smaller unions. Um, yeah, that's an issue that you know, you have to think of creative ways. You know, like the Cheetahs are doing that. The Toyota Cup. Hopefully, we'll see something like that. You know, that's going to keep, you know, guys active at least. You know, with a decent off season, but also keeping them active. You know, and also maybe it's a chance as well for player welfare. You know, seeing that as a gap. You know, so depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, someone needs to pick up Dobela and Pamlashe.
Mm. Well, look,
Surprisingly, Lions didn't sign him after being
that
on
was the
loan.
guy. I mean, they had him there, you know, like you can't understand why, you know, that was the guy. Like the Lions, the Lions.
Yeah, moving on. Bulls versus Cheetahs. Monet Stain and Bismarck final game at Loftus.
I,
You know, this is the
hey,
thing. These games are always dangerous. And I said it for Kitso. These milestone games, these important games, these are the dangerous games that your visitors are coming to ruin your party.
yo, hey, I couldn't help it. With those kicks, I was just like, yo, what is going on? You know, like it's just that I was just that's why I'm laughing now that hey, these milestone games are not good, man. They're not good. They're not good.
And the thing with the Bulls got off to a great start. Good kicking game, chasing well. And the main thing that I found from especially their attack is that they were tidying up very, very well. You know, kick chase, tidy up attack.
Mm,
There was a
mm,
mistake from the Cheetahs, tidy up attack. Again, even
yeah.
a half gap for Papier. It was also like a little half gap, but he was there to collect and
Yes.
tidy up and go.
But
Papier again showing the depth of SA scrum halves.
yes. Yeah, and look, he's definitely improved. He's found his sweet spot, but you know, he's a bit too far, a little bit too far down, you know. Uh, but then with the Bulls in that game, yeah, like you say, tidying up and attacking, and I think it's also just the support play. You know, they're really working hard um, off the ball to get into those positions, and I think also just being a bit smarter, you know, with the chase in terms of how they set up. You know, where the one is going, and then the guys are there's somebody hanging back. You know, in case there's that bounce or there's a tackle that needs to be made, so they're covering that space. You know, so they're setting up nicely there, and that's how they were able to sort of win those contestables and you know, an attack from there. But yeah, you know, cheaters are always they're always
Those guys are dangerous, man. They're dangerous. Masuku there, distribution, the general.
yeah, look, that's I think uh just showing the tens that we have, you know, in the country. You know, we've got talent, we've got black talent that's there ready to be primed, and I'm glad that he's, you know, is going to the Sharks, a bit more exposure. Hopefully he can grow from there, you know. And we saw in this game his quality, and you can't question him, and he got those guys firing, you know. But
Yeah, even in
especially
the
look at those hard
forwards.
foughts in the pack.
Yeah, and the pack, Olafia, Bernardo,
Yeah,
Oma, like those guys impressed. They impressed. But I mean, even the
yeah,
backs, Kasende can run. He can run.
yeah. Hey,
He can run.
hey,
Mafura is also
yeah,
he's got that X factor. You know,
yeah.
it all comes together well. Even with
Compliments
Brits, you
them
saw
well.
Brits' try. These guys, they're some serious guys, some ballers.
Mm. Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, that they're not in the position where they can be playing URC, and hopefully, you know, yeah. I mean, look at it with the Greek was saying that they've got we need the cheaters, you know, we need the cheaters
But this is exactly my issue with the Lions, is where you see these guys playing like this. It's a sign of intent. It's a commitment to,
yeah,
it's that thing. It's
yeah,
that thing to play that's
yeah,
missing, and
yeah.
they're not, yeah.
And
USC, they need to,
they jamming those guys. I know they playing, and they just intense.
yeah.
That intensity that they bring. I mean, even you saw that Cassandra try. That is just intensity. Even those breakouts from their own 22, you know, it's just going for it. It's almost total rugby, you know, when the opportunities they're taking it, you know, or at least going for it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just good to watch. Good to watch.
Yeah, except for the ref, even the commentator, you know, it's bad when even the commentators are pointing it out. You know, even
Yeah, no,
post
man.
80 minutes, there was hands in the ruck, knock on. He was scared to make a decision either way.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, the referee was just cold. Referee was just that game, you know, especially when you think about it, in some of those situations, right, or some of those decisions, it wasn't really like you know, try scoring situation. It was like foul play offenses, and it's like, yeah, you can see, man, like, you know, especially the foul play one. For me, that's the one that like really, you know, it was number one, it was late, and it was direct to the head, and it is regardless of if we are low, I mean, like it was to the head, and according to the law, it must be red, you know, and that is foul play because he was being naughty, that guy, you know. You know, but you know, yeah, man, you know, it's just referees. It's always gonna be a thing. It's always gonna be a thing.
Yeah, moving on to your boys. I Province
I
cooked your boys. They cooked them properly.
Nah, they put them
Blomekeys, you know,
away
when
comprehensively.
Blomekeys starts to shaking and moving. He's
Yeah, when
when
he's
he
doing that
collects the
thing.
ball and he starts pointing, that guy, no, run there.
With
Then I'll
I no, it I think that was like it's one of those games where the Sharks nothing worked for them. Province is just too good. It's one of those games where it's almost like it's a wake-up call kind of game, you know. And especially some of the errors that some of the players are making stupid mistakes, a little bit, just costing momentum and just putting the team under pressure, and just not being able to execute. But then Province, you not take anything away from them. They, they, babashayile. No, even that's, it was tough to watch. Yeah, it was really tough to watch because it's just like one of those games you couldn't see the Sharks getting on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
They just didn't have a way in, and they couldn't manufacture a way in. And hopefully in the semi-final they can correct, and hopefully they'll be hurting. I think they will be definitely hurting after that result. It wasn't good enough. It was not good enough.
Province, I think, just outlining depth at 10, Mattia, Ben Jason Dixon, that charge down, little footwork there. He's also, if we had a breakthrough player of the year, definitely a guy putting his hand up.
And Province, it just shows that they've got a good thing going down there. Province Stormers, I think they've got a very good system. I think they in that with their purple patch, right now, and they unfortunately can't capitalize on it in the Currie Cup, and they didn't in the URC. But just from a playing perspective and results perspective, they're there. They're not disappointing. And that result showed it. It really did, that performance.
Yeah, they look like
Sharks
they can just show up next week. They don't even have to train.
Sharks were nowhere. That was just too easy. For me, that was disappointing. Very disappointing. So a few good things, not even a few good things, just interesting things. It's just like, okay, he's trying, but it's just like, it's not working. It doesn't working.
Yeah. Looking forward. Only thing you can do is look forward to next week. Cheetahs versus the Bulls. Cheetahs at home this time. And I'm fully expecting the same thing to happen again. I don't see, the thing is, you look at it and you think, okay, the Bulls, it's comeback, it's comeback, it's payback, it's we're taking everything back, but
PIP will continue. PIP will continue. I don't see it. The problems will continue in Pretoria. And because they wouldn't even deserve it, to be honest, to get even into that final, if they do. But no. Then there's Sharks, Pumas. That one.
Yeah. I'm expecting the Sharks to win there. I'm expecting the Sharks to win there. Pumas obviously, they're ballers as well. Apollos playing against his mates that he's going to meet in a few weeks' time. But I don't think they'll have it ultimately. Even, Dimaza's also playing well at the moment. They always do well, but I don't know if this, especially after the Sharks getting hammered like that.
Yes, I understand. The Sharks, especially after that hammering, they're going to be hurting. They're going to want to respond. They need to respond. They don't have a choice. The Pumas as well, I think they also, in a way, are in a position where they need to respond. Like from an internal perspective, whereas they owe themselves, because they've hit a slump, if you know what I mean. And I think we're gonna see a semi-final for real, and I think they're gonna bring, weather permitting, they're gonna try to bring the pace to the game, and it's gonna be, let's all in, and let's see at the end of the 80, and hopefully the Sharks will be ready to go there and also be able to nullify that and put their game plan together and get us into the final. That's what I'm looking for.
Any closing remarks from your side, Chris?
Sharks must just do better. That's my closing remark.
From me, closing, Jean Kleyn. Reveal those secrets, my brother. Reveal those secrets. Get a few beers in that man and let him sing. Let him tell us the Irish secrets.